Hi, my name is McKenzie and I am a writer. I never thought I would say those words together because when I was a child I didn't learn phonics and I couldn't read. So trying to pronounce words was literally impossible. During middle school and high school, I'm pretty sure my English teacher hated me. And if she didn't hate me, I definitely hated her because I just didn't understand. I couldn't grasp the concepts and it just wouldn't stick. But I really loved to tell stories and I loved to share stories and I wanted to be able to hear other people's stories and preserve them. So when I was 21, I went to South Africa and I did a photojournalism school. I thought the only way I would be able to tell people stories and preserve them was through photos because my writing was so terrible. During that 3-month school, I had to keep a journal and write stories in it every week. At first, I absolutely hated it. It was the worst chore you could have ever given me. But slowly and slowly, I just saw my heart for that transform and I began to really enjoy writing the stories. At the end of the 3-month school, my staff members sat down with me and they asked me, they're like, "McKenzie, do you have dyslexia or some other learning disability?" And I was like, "No, why would you think that?" They're like, "Well, because the beginning of the school, your writing in your journal, it was so terrible. We were really kind of worried about you. But we've seen your stories transform over the months and we're wondering, like, did you have someone come and help you write your journal or did someone write your journal for you?" And I was like, "No, I'm enjoying writing more though." And that was it was such a weird thing for me to go from someone who didn't know how to write at all and hated it to really enjoying it. And after that, I went and I took my School of Communication Foundations in South Africa. During that school, we had to learn every style of writing you can think of, whether it be how to write professional business emails, a magazine article, a thesis, or a public speech. We had to do it all. And it was absolutely terrifying because I had never done any of it before. I had been homeschooled the majority of my life, so having to write papers and things was something I just didn't do. So I sat down with my staff members the very first week and I said, "I don't know how to do this. You have to help me. I don't know what I'm doing." And she just told me, she's like, "Okay, McKenzie, just breathe. Do what you know how to do. Send it in, and then we'll go over this next week together." So I did my best and I sent my report in, and next week we sat down and she said, "McKenzie, this is amazing. You did it correctly." It gave me the confidence to go forward in that class. So I went from someone who had no self-confidence and no writing ability to someone who flourished. And it just blew me away. After that school was finished, I went to the Netherlands for Bible school. And while I was there, I fell in love with writing poetry. I remember the first time I sat down and I wrote what was on my heart, and I stopped and I read it and I was like, "Whoa, wait, what is this? Did I just write this? No way, I hate poetry. Like, how did this come out of me? I'm not a writer." And God was like, "No, McKenzie, you are a writer. This is what I've called you to." So after those 3 months, I went back home to Alaska and I worked and I was just really praying and seeking God about what I should do next. And He told me to go ahead and try and finish my communication degree through the University of the Nations. And with that in mind, He said to take the School of Writing in Kona, Hawaii, which is actually where I'm at right now. I've been here for 2 months and I have a month left. And I am getting ready to prepare my next step. He's giving me a heart to share my story and sharing other people's stories. I feel like the Lord is calling me to write a full-length book about my testimony. And I want to invite you along the journey with me as I take this step in faith to write my first book. I have my 3-month internship following this school that I need to complete, as well as one more 3-month school, and then my degree is completed. I need people who will be there to encourage me along the way, as well as to pray with me. And I'm also looking for people who are willing to support me financially as I finish this degree. I would love to have you join me in this journey.